Morally Corrupted show here on the Ringer Reality feed. I'm Rachel Lindsay. She is Callie Curry. And let's get into it. Miami is back. It's the only thing I want to talk about. And to be honest with you, I forgot Miami was coming back until, I don't know who said it. Chelsea Bell, somebody was like, oh yeah, you know, Miami starts this week. And I said, what? It's literally been the best news of the week for me. Literally been the best thing. And it didn't disappoint. I can't remember if it was you and me talking or who was talking, Callie, but somebody was like, I feel like we haven't heard a lot about Miami and what's to come. And I was like, what? I could break down 5 storylines for you before this that have been going on in the off season. Like, this is going to be a great season.
When you said 5, I was thinking of them, but I could probably. Larsa and Marcus are broken up. He got caught with coke. He was saying bad stuff about her. Alexia and Todd broke up. Alexia and Todd got back together. Larsa and Lisa aren't friends anymore. Like, we knew all of this before the season started. So.
But what we didn't know, the way it started off, Alexia and Todd, and we knew they broke up. We knew the breakdown of, like, that he filed for divorce and then they were back together. But I did not know the trauma surrounding the breakup and how he broke up. I'm like, this is why Miami is good. You gave us a little, but you did not give us everything.
Well, what makes Miami good to me is that in one episode, we got how traumatic of a breakup it was, and also that they're already back together.
And that they're already back together. And I love that they were able to document each part, like her talking to the women, her talking to her closer friends. And not only that, we're getting on camera the reaction of her closest friends shitting on it. So now you know how Alexia rolls. She's going to go back and watch it. Now, I'm sure Marisol told her, like, I'm worried about you. I don't think this is a good decision. But they're clearly not happy that she's back with Todd. And I would just like to talk about that. Because when they got divorced, he clearly filed. We know that. And I figured she was caught by surprise, but I didn't realize how she was caught by surprise. And I feel like, I don't know. Mine wasn't quite like that, but the filing was a surprise. I'll put it like that. Not the discussion of divorce. But with her, it seems like there was no talk. And he just filed. So you filed for divorce out of reaction to something.
No. It sounds like he moved out without her knowing, knew he was going to move out in front of Frankie, which I feel like is the most fucked part of all of it.
Right.
Then after he moved out, they kept talking, acting like, you know, maybe we'll go to therapy. Let's figure this out. And then she was served papers. So it was like multiple surprises.
We knew Todd was an asshole from how he yelled at her kids, how he tried to swoop in and tell her how to parent her children. Just the way he handled the situation with some of the men and the women on the season, to the point where last season we saw him really take a seat back because he knew he had showed his ass and embarrassed himself. But this is like the ultimate asshole behavior. And despite all of that, Alexia's like, but Daddy, I love him. And I'm like, this is not going to go well.
No, I want to know, like, I'm still confused, and maybe you know, like, are they currently married or are they divorced and dating? Because I remember when all this was happening too, people thought that he filed for like money reasons.
Yeah.
Which wasn't talked about at all on this episode. That wasn't mentioned at all on this episode. And after watching this episode, if he did it for money reasons, Alexia is unaware. So I don't think Alexia was in on it, which originally when this was first happening, people thought Alexia was in on it. Now after watching this, I was like, Alexia has no idea what's happening. She's just getting back together with him.
Money reasons? They are officially divorced. They finalized their divorce in March.
Yeah, so so like March. That was only a couple months ago, and they're still dating today.
They're still together.
So why did you guys go through the divorce if you guys were dating this entire time? People said it had to do something with like Todd being sued or Todd's wife wanting money. And so if he got married to Alexia, she would have access to Alexia's money. But I don't even think that's true legally, right?
No, she would only have access to Alexia's money while they were married. Or not
No,
access to. She wouldn't even have access to it. But like the only thing he could have access to is her money during the marriage, not anything before. So that doesn't really make any sense.
like his ex-wife would not have access to Alexia's money.
No.
That's what I thought. I was like, I don't know, but that's what I remember when it was first happening. There was like articles about how either Todd was being sued or something with his ex-wife, and he didn't want to have Alexia's money tied up in it all. And that's why they actually got divorced.
I mean, but look at her reaction to your point. What you were saying is she was blindsided. Like she had no idea.
Yes, I think Alexia was completely blindsided, but I'm now like, they've been dating this entire time. Why did they go through the divorce just a few months ago? Like,
Maybe
why did they finish the
who
divorce?
just doesn't want to be married.
But
Like
they're still together.
But that doesn't mean that he can't do other shit on the
No,
side. Do you know what I mean? Like to me, it
I
just seems
think
like
that I believe now that it probably is something financial, because why keep going through with it if you guys are back together? And I get it. Maybe he just doesn't want to be married, but it doesn't seem like Alexia is just going to be like, okay, let's not be married, but let's stay together.
Well, maybe he came up on some money and doesn't want Alexia to have access to it. I don't know.
Something ain't adding up. That's all I'm saying.
Well, either way it goes, whether it's professional wise or personal, like to me, I feel like it's like when Alexia's like, and weeks later he realized he couldn't live without me. Bitch, take the bitch out. He publicly embarrassed you. He humiliated you. This was such, as the women kept saying, coward behavior. So what do you mean he realized he can't live without you? Like what?
Can't live without you.
A
You're
partner.
The most
he needs somebody
woman.
taking care of him. He needs the companionship. To me, when I always saw this, I was like, oh, he went back to her because he wants to have her cake and eat it too. It almost feels like he wants to see how far he can go with her and see how much she'll take him back. So if he can publicly shame her and she still stays with him, like
I think he could do
anything. He could do anything.
Yeah,
and he knows
agree.
it. And he knows it.
I agree.
So maybe it's a little bit a mix of both. But I'm not going to lie. I can say this now because it was devastating to watch her, like once you go through a divorce. I mean, it was a hard period, but once you've gone through it, like you just understand some of the things that she's talking about. And it broke my heart to see her in that state. But now I can talk about it without emotion because she's back with him. And I'm going to enjoy watching the roller coaster that this relationship is this season.
Yeah.
I can say that now that we know they're together and they're fine. But
she was doing interviews and they asked her if she'd ever get married again. And she said only to Todd.
Yeah, he's got her. Todd has her whipped around his finger, or wrapped, around his finger so many times. Like, he can do whatever he wants.
I love what Marisol said. Just because it's good for the whole does not mean it's good for your heart.
Good for the soul.
No, she said whole.
No, she said just because it's good for the whole doesn't mean it's good for the soul. Good for the soul.
There we go. Yeah.
I was like, that's such a bar.
I know. I was like, exactly.
I will be saying that all the time now. Like, forget those fucking bedazzled cups. You need to be making t-shirts with that saying
100%. I literally, my mom was watching when I was watching, and she heard that and like almost spit her drink out. I was like, that was a good one, right?
Never heard that one before. Never heard that one. That was good. Okay. A lot of this episode is the rift between Lisa and Larsa, which as I watched this entire episode, I said they are the same person, which is why they can't understand each other, why they can't. You would think that they would be able to understand each other, but it's like because of the ways they are so much alike, they can't get out of their own way. When Larsa's like, Lisa, you live in Lisa land. I'm like, Larsa, and you live in Larsa land. You both are very self-centered, very selfish, and I think it's why you get along so well, but I think it's why they also fight so much too. When it comes to this whole rift between the two of them, because Lisa and Jodi are still hanging out with, at times, or when they run into Marcus, they hang out or acknowledge him or take pictures with him, Larsa's ex. Do you think that Larsa has a right to be upset, or do you think Larsa is overreacting?
I think Larsa is overreacting, but I think that Lisa is underreacting. I think that they should be able to meet somewhere in the middle on this. Like, I get Larsa being like annoyed that they were hanging out with Marcus after he was saying bad things about her. But like, I think all you have to do, if I were Larsa, I would have been like, I would have called Lisa and been like, hey, I really didn't appreciate that. Like, we're going through something really nasty. He's threatening me. He's saying all these things. Like, I just really don't want I don't want Marcus to have access to my friends right now. And Lisa be like, okay, got it, understood, whatever. Instead, Larsa started texting her like pretty aggressively. It did seem like Larsa tried to call her and she didn't answer. So I will give Larsa the benefit of the doubt there. But Lisa just being like, that's Jodi's friend. Like, they're not friends.
Well, Larsa had the best response to that when she said, was Marcus hanging out with you before we broke up?
Yeah.
No, he's doing it to get back. And normally I would be like, okay, that's just Larsa centering herself in it. But it's like, no, he is doing it to get mad at Larsa, to get a reaction. He's probably watching this episode thrilled that because of him, Larsa is ugly crying in a bathroom with Kiki at a birthday party.
Right.
This is exactly what he wants. But for Lisa to be saying, I know Lisa was drunk at the end at this party, but for Lisa to say some of the things that she was saying to her best friend was really, cruel. When she's like, oh, it was a fake breakup, which, I mean, she's probably not lying. She's probably saying something she shouldn't say. But she's like, oh, it's a fake breakup. Oh, you got go back and forth. We're going to run into this person. We're allowed to be friends. You were only together for a year, like minimizing Larsa's feelings. Like, that stuff is pretty hurtful. And knowing the type of person Larsa is, I don't know how they come back from this.
I don't think they do come back from this. Knowing the type of person Larsa and Lisa are, I think although, I don't know, they're so weird. They could just be like, okay, we're fine, like randomly. But they both said things that I thought were like crossing the line. Larsa talking about Lisa's sex life. Like, it's not my fault that you had girls in the hot tub. And Lisa was like, you want to talk about my sex life? I know you don't. Like, don't have me start talking about your sex life. And then Lisa being like, everyone knows the type of person you are. I was just like, oof, this is not what you want. Like, they both know a lot of each other they both know a lot about each other. And I just feel like if me and one of my very good friends break up, I'm not going to go tell your secrets that you told me when we were very good friends. I think that is so messed up. We don't have to be friends, but I'm not going to go tell your shit. Like,
yeah. You know why I wouldn't? Because I probably wouldn't remember them. I'd be like, how can I get back at this girl? I don't even remember anything. I don't even remember the secrets. No. And this is why we're not housewives, Callie.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
We're not housewives. This is not what we wouldn't even think to do something like that. And honestly, it would be out of fear of I mean, yes, I'm just not that type of person, but also like karma is a real thing. And I just wouldn't go around throwing people under the bus in that way. But these housewives have no problem doing it, which is why we love it. This is why Miami is so good.
Why they're housewives.
And we also know a storyline on this because they must make up in some capacity because the storyline on here is Larsa being frustrated with Jodi being in Lisa's business on business calls. So they must come to some sort of...
I think that's just her... like continuing with this, like, I don't like them. And like now Jodi's all in her business and has become her manager.
I need Jodi to loosen up. I need him to lay off whatever he is using to tighten up that face. It's painful to look at. I'm like, can he blink? Can he smile? His face is tight.
Did you see this whole thing with the AC?
Okay, here's the thing. I saw it on social media.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it on the show. Or did I miss it?
No, I didn't see it on the show either. I only saw it on social media. And I watched the show, but I was like, the show ended and I was like, damn, did I miss it?
Was it on Peacock?
Oh, maybe it was on like the extended version.
What day does Miami drop? I don't know, because it was just popped up Wednesday. Okay, so it would be on Peacock. So maybe it was on Peacock. But I did see the clip on social media, and AC is obviously drugs.
So you know that Lisa like went to I think Instagram and like posted like, I can't believe I'm having to even address this. But we use our bedroom for entertaining our friends all the time. There's a lounge in our bedroom, and people will like go and chill and sit in there all the time. And AC is air conditioning, which is very vital in Miami. That's what she said.
Girl, yeah, I believe they do go in your room. They do lounge. They pull out their. It's Miami. Miami is the only city in the United States where I have actively watched people pull out their cocaine and do it in public, in the clubs, not at houses, but like actually in public places. That's the only city that I've seen in this country. In this country,
I would say Miami, New York, and LA. 100%.
I've never seen it. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I've
seen it
like
in Miami, New York, and LA.
I'm walking through like to the bathroom, and instead of bottles being popped out, I'm seeing people pass
Miami.
bumps
I would say
Miami.
I think Miami and LA honestly are way more blatant than other places. Even New York.
Probably LA. I've probably seen it in LA too. But but like it's like,
I just don't think people are having friends in their bedrooms unless something's happening that they don't want happening in the rest of the house. That's all I'm saying.
They go to the bedroom or the bathroom. And she's probably like, guys, that's not what it is. It's not cocaine. It's Tusi. That's probably what she's saying. That's probably what she's saying. Allegedly. Before we get in trouble. Allegedly. But let me just tell you, as a person who's lived in Miami, and Callie, you know this too, it's like, everybody has, I mean, not everybody, but people who live like Lisa have air conditioning is not something that is only in one room.
No. No, also,
it's not only in one room.
This is going to sound like incredibly, I don't know, maybe, I don't know what the word is, but your house is 6,000 square feet, not 15. The lounge in your bedroom ain't that big to be hosting people in your bedroom.
There's no lounge. Maybe in the bathroom.
I'm like, there's just not. It's 6,000 square foot house. There's no way that you have a huge lounge in your bedroom. And a 6,000 square foot house is a very big house. But there's a difference between a 6,000 square foot house and her 15,000 square foot house that she had with Lenny.
Also, come up with a better code name. Candy.
What? Candy's not a good one either.
Too obvious, too on the nose.
Yeah.
Maybe like
I would
a
just
drink.
I would be like, hey, do you want to just like go get some quiet in my room? It's a little loud.
No, that's just have a little alcoholic drink name something. I don't know. Do better. You guys are mics. You're on camera. Say
you're gonna go smoke weed or something.
True. But not legal in Florida, but still.
That's true. I know Lisa came to clear it up. I'm just like, it didn't look like that, Lisa.
No, we all know. Like, she knows. We all know. We know what you were doing. We know what was going down. We know.
And no judgment, by the way.
No judgment. We're trying to help you out.
Yeah, I'm like, there's no kids at the party, do you? It's your birthday party. But like, I was just like, okay.
It always makes me laugh, though, when they come on and try to explain it, because the explanation is always worse. They were better off. She just shouldn't have addressed it. She should have just been like, I don't know. That was them talking. I don't know what they were doing about AC. I don't know what AC is. AC
I would have addressed it.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't have said AC is air conditioning. I would have just been like, I don't know who AC is. That's one of Jodi's friends. I don't know. I wouldn't have even talked about it.
I wouldn't have talked about it.
They always make it worse.
I would have just waited for the reunion to get questioned about it. I'd be like, you got to ask Jodi. I don't know.
You're right. They all punt to Jodi. And we know he's got a stone cold face. He ain't got any kind of emotion. No emotion.
For sure.
And other news in the episode, we got Julia and Martina. are adopting 2 brothers. We know this has been a long time happening. We also see that there's a rift between her and Adriana because Adriana's upset, which Julia, I guess, doesn't know at this point, but we know as the audience that she's upset because Julia's getting closer to Marisol and Alexia. But poor Julia just thinks that Adriana's been busy with her new man. Poor Julia.
Well, listen, that ain't a far leap, because I can understand why Julia thinks that, because we saw Adriana with her man for about 10 minutes and she had no availability to speak because they were making out the entire time.
Or talking about all the sex that they were going to have. And I mean, he was an attractive man. You know what's interesting? I don't know where people find these attractive French men, because when I go to France, I don't see they must not be in Paris. I don't see attractive French men. Like, this guy was an attractive guy. I never see that. Like, Italy, sure. France, I never really see it.
I think, well, it depends on what you're looking for. I think you can see some very attractive African Frenchmen in France.
Never saw them. I'll be on the lookout.
Mm-hmm. You're going to Paris, right?
Yeah.
During Men's Fashion Week, you'll see them.
Yeah. I'll be in the streets.
Rachel gonna come back with a man.
No. No. A European boo? Sure.
Oh, wait, I forgot you have a man. Yeah. My bad. Whoops. Sorry, Willie.
European boo. European friend. A friend. Also in this episode, Gertie gives us an update. She talks about all the treatment that she's had to do, which I love that Gertie's using her platform to talk about breast cancer and breast cancer awareness, because I was surprised. I really just don't know so much about just breast cancer and just the different levels of it, because I thought Jodi? I thought Gertie had stage 1, and I think she did, but I was surprised that she had to have
to do so much,
all the radiation, all the chemo. And I don't know if that's something she opted to do, because I know that they'll be like, well, if you do this, because I know somebody else who's going through breast cancer, and it's like, well, if you do this, it lessens your chance to 5%, but if you don't do this, and it stays at this percentage. So maybe she was trying to decrease
as much as possible.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I was surprised that she's had so much. She's gone through so much in the last year, but she looks great. She looks fantastic.
Well, wait, Gertie isn't on fully this season though, right?
I didn't know that. She's a friend of?
I thought so. I may be wrong. I thought she was a friend of.
I mean, I could see Adriana being Adriana has been a friend.
Has been a friend of. I thought Adriana was a friend of. Gertie was a friend of. Kiki got bumped up to full-time cast member. That's what I thought, but I could be wrong.
I don't know. We'll have to see who's holding an orange. Are they holding oranges? No. What do they hold? Oranges, Orange County. What do they hold in Miami?
Oranges
Sunshine?
is OC, right?
Yeah. Sunshine?
AC?
Sand? Okay, let's go on to Atlanta. The women are in Grenada.
Mm-hmm.
Brit is strange.
Oh, my Lord.
I'm just going to start there. I don't want to say weird, because I use weird as a compliment. I love weird people.
Yeah, I don't think weird
Brit is
bad.
strange. Brit is strange. There is something like what.
Listen, you know what I want to say?
elevator-
You have, since episode 1, been like, something do not add up with Brit Eady. So you have called it from the very beginning.
Something in the milk ain't clean. Is that how they say it? Something in the milk ain't. Something's not right.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I'm not surprised. I am not surprised that she doesn't go to the reunion. I am not surprised that she is suing Bravo. I am not surprised that she won't be on next season. Like, after what, we're not even finished with this season. And I'm like, yeah, this was coming. We knew this was coming.
Yes. She is, and I am so here on this episode for Shamia calling her out. I am here for Shamia being passive aggressive, even though in real life I can't stand that. I am here for her being shady. Brit knows she's talking about her. And I'm glad that Britt couldn't even just let it roll off of her back. I'm glad that Britt had to say something about it because it's like the camera is catching her in a lie, which also when I see moments like this, or lies, I should say plural, when I see moments like this, it makes me question the what's true with the allegations in her lawsuit. Like when she sat up there and said, oh yeah, the guy's gonna be bringing the rest of the stuff. I have more stuff at home. This is all I could carry. And brought them empty boxes with 3 rolls of toilet paper and maybe like some Kleenex. Not even a full package of toilet paper. It's like those rolls of toilet paper and just lie straight up and then be like, well, Shamea told me at the last minute, go to the store like Cynthia did. Go get a gift card.
Well, my thing is also like, I don't understand. Like you could have spent less money. Like you could have spent $250 and gone to Walmart and get a fuck ton of shit and it would have looked better than you bringing that box of toilet paper and paper towels that were already used. Like you had already opened them up and started using them. So you just brought whatever was left in your house. And then to be like, okay, I'm just going to Venmo money and you Venmo $250. I am not trying to pocket watch anybody. But that is a damn shame. And I agree with what Phaedra said. She said minimum is $1,000, 1. And 2, if you're going to spend $200 to $300 on your nails every 2 weeks, then you can give more than $250.
Oh, I think we fully are able to pocket watch when you do roll up with your Birkin and your rolls. We absolutely get to count your money when you do that. And it made me wonder, I wonder if we rolled up on Britt right now. I wonder if she still has those bags, if she still has that car, if they even live in that same house. Because everything seems to be rent to something in order to build up this lifestyle. Like even rent a business. Her businesses aren't even the same that they were when she started the show, if she ever had them at all. Because, there was that whole thing where people were doing all the research and calling her out. It was like she was selling how-to classes or something like that. And like making you pay for her services for her to teach you how to do something. Nothing about, and I know I say this and I sound like a broken record every episode, but nothing about Britt is believable.
Adds up.
In the list. Doesn't add up. Doesn't make sense. It's all just, I wouldn't have even wanted to, if she wasn't suing, I would have wanted her on the reunion, but I definitely would not have wanted another season of her because early on I used to say that Britt looks different in every episode.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm used to seeing her, so she doesn't. But Britt has a different personality, a different persona.
It's not even every episode. It's like every scene. Like,
yeah.
From the beginning of the episode to what we got at the very end of this episode where she was like, you're my friend and I will be there for you. Matter of fact, let's take shots. Let's get lit. Let's turn up. Let me make a champagne drink. I'm like, what the fuck? You went from the beginning of the episode being like, she pressured me into shots to being mad at dinner to then being crying and saying we're so close. Like all the ladies there when Britt was crying were literally nodding their heads like, okay. All right.
They were, they had a separate group chat where they were where they were talking about Britt after that was over. They could not wait to get to their phones.
Also, Britt being like, Portia, you couldn't even save my number. Bitch, I asked who was who and you didn't respond. Like, what?
The thing with Britt is I wish she would have stood 10 toes down on, I don't take shots. I don't like to do that, which is fine, right?
Totally fine.
I felt pressured. I was trying to fit in with the girls. I was just whatever. And instead, you went overboard to where it was like, this isn't really you. When she and let's just be clear. The only reason she had that monologue, which if she had said 2 sentences, I would have been like, okay, but she just kept going and repeating and repeating. I wish we had Shamea's thoughts as she was sitting there holding Shamea's leg, hand, whatever it was. But the only reason she did that is because Queen Phaedra basically was like, this is what you need to do to fit in. And I think a light bulb went off in her head like, I'm not going to be able to come back this season unless I connect with these women, unless I do exactly what Phaedra's saying. Because it was too quick from the car ride to that. And then for her to be like, I love you. I love you. No, you don't. And then what does she do? it's like, it also let me know that she doesn't really have that much of a personality, because her go-to was, let me drink and get naked. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like when people don't have a lot to say, they do the most. It's like she couldn't just rest on her personality or what she was saying. She had to cause this big scene.
The whole thing was so weird.
When she did say, I'm going to take a shot, I thought that was funny. I was like, okay. And she was like, you know what? I'm going to take a shot of tequila. That was funny. Then she started doing the champagne. Weird. Then she got naked. It's like, if she had just been like, bitch, blah, 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 I'm going to take a shot, and left it there, it would have been funny. But she just did too much. I
thought the whole thing was weird. Also, like, what Shamia is going through, like, you taking a shot, I was just like, but that ain't gonna cheer me up. I'm just gonna be like, I don't feel like fucking taking shots. Like, just give me a second. And I'm not even friends with you. Like, this is something personal. I don't necessarily want to connect with someone who I'm not that close with right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But, man, Britt, you're a weirdo. You know what's crazy is I was watching this in the kitchen while I was cooking last night, and my dad walked by, and he was like, is that Charles Oakley? I was like, it sure is. Charles Oakley and my dad played on the same team together at one point.
Oh, okay. So he's like, so this is what Charles is doing now.
He was just like, oh, okay. He was like, he's shocked Charles would do it. He's like, I'm shocked he would do that show.
But Charles also did Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But to switch gears to Charles, girl, if Angela's happy, I'm happy. I don't know what to say. You had to call your man over and over and over again to finally get him to pick up, and for you to be like, it's our 8-year anniversary. And he goes, okay. This is the first time we've spent our anniversary apart. Okay. I'm like, stop. Why? Why are you even putting this on TV? Like, you should have gone downstairs and been like, oh yeah, I talked to him earlier. He called me this morning. Lie. Why are we doing this?
Angela is making it worse.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be this bad, but the way you keep trying to force Charles to be something that he's not, like, Charles probably actually said, sure, you could do this show, leave me out of it. He probably said that. And that's the energy that he's giving. Every single time he talks, the energy is like, why am I here? I told you I don't want to be here. That's what he gives off. But
well,
the
it's
way
also,
he was.
Oh, on that phone call. Oof.
I mean, it was like, Anne, it literally was given, Anne, can you get off the phone so I can go back to my real woman?
I'm just like, I would have downplayed my relationship so much if this is what my relationship is. Instead, she talks about her relationship so much. And even, was it Portia? I think it was Portia. Or Phaedra, because Phaedra's been great since she's been back.
She was hiding. Phaedra said she had is that what you're going to say?
No, I was going to say, like, when they were at dinner and she just, like, volunteered that he doesn't wear their wedding ring.
Oh, and Portia said that.
And Portia was like, girl, why? Why are you saying that? We didn't ask. You just volunteered that information. Like, why are you telling us this?
I know.
It's like, this episode we see you not with your man on your anniversary. He didn't call to tell you happy anniversary.
Care.
He didn't care when you called to talk about your anniversary. He doesn't wear his wedding ring. Like, I'm like, ugh.
I can't wait for her to address this at the reunion. Like, I'm sure she's going to be like, that's just Charles being Charles. He really doesn't want to film. Well, if he really doesn't want to film, then stop forcing him to.
Exactly.
Because we've seen Charles more than we've seen anybody else's husband. Brit Eady's husband isn't around like that. Who else is married?
No. We don't see Shamia's husband like that.
We don't see Shamia's husband. Right? So it's like, you don't have to put Charles. We get it. You're married to Charles Oakley. He is a legend. But we just let it rest there. I almost am like, that's been her storyline. Other than the houses that she can't sell, that's really been her storyline is Charles. And it was probably her selling point to get on the show. And that's probably why she
feels obligated. I don't know. But I'm just like, girl, you keep making it worse. And like, yes, have the women had like little, they've been chit-chatting here and there, whatever. But you are bringing him to the table every episode to be talked about. And I also thought it was interesting that Phaedra in her interview was like, I've known Charles for 10 years. And they were like, did you know he was married? And she was like, well, I didn't not know. Like, he didn't say he wasn't, but he didn't say he was. No, I didn't know. But she was like, he was the life of the party. And I'm like, he is not giving life of the party energy to this show.
But I believe that.
So do I. I believe that he is life of the party. And he's like, I don't want any part of this party.
They like Charles more than they like her. That's for sure. The energy they give. Like, we love Charles. Charles is so much fun. And then there's Angela.
Yeah.
I feel bad for her because she's constantly trying to prove her worth in all of this. I mean, she's doing it with, she's doing it on social media. She's doing it on the show. And the more she tries, the worse it gets. It's like, just be Angela Oakley and ride on that Oakley name and keep it there. Keep him a mystery.
That's what she should do. But
yeah. I will say it was really sad when Shamia's husband called her about their daughter, because I know that she's talked about her daughter has had complications, but I don't think I knew to what extent until this episode. I actually thought that maybe they were around birth, and I thought she was kind of out of it. So to hear Shamia talk about like her immune system and how the nanny isn't, doing what's necessary. And it was really sweet. The husband was like on it, he was like, this is what happened. This is what happened. If I'm paying attention to this, if it doesn't change, I'm taking her here. I was like, oh, what a good man. But I can't imagine what it was for Shamia to feel so helpless in that situation and feel guilty. Like she's of course is deserving of a break and a good time, but probably feels super guilty. And not probably does feel super guilty that
for not being there.
She's
Yeah. I think she had mentioned like a little bit about like how her daughter was still struggling, but I didn't know to the extent either. And it seems like she was really scared for her daughter to even get a fever. So, which like kids get fevers all the time. So I can't imagine how like stressful that is on a day to day. So for her to like leave and this happen, she probably feels awful for leaving. But hopefully, or as far as we know, like her daughter's fine. So I'm glad that she was able to, or I don't know if she's fine, but she's alive. So I'm glad her daughter is okay today, and hopefully Shamia is able to enjoy the rest of this trip.
Yeah. Hopefully she is. Yeah, I was like, they're still there, right? We left them there. Yeah, they're still there.
Yeah, because
they're still in the kitchen naked. Britt's in the kitchen naked. That's what
the names of their episodes also are the 3 R's they started with. What is it? Rest,
renew,
release. So this next episode will be release, and then I assume that might be the finale.
Are we already there? Yeah, I guess. Oh my gosh, that's episode 14. Yeah, it might be, because the release seems to be between the friendship of Britt and Strawberry Shortcake.
Yeah, so I don't know. I was just, when I saw the names of the episodes, I was like, oh, that might be the finale might be release. And I know they've already filmed the reunion, so I don't know, we'll see. But it would make sense to me, episode 14, that's the finale. And all the Watch What Happens lives about this trip, everyone's talked about how much fun it was. So hopefully we get to see some of that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, this has been a good season. If this is the finale, or the finale's next week, I'm fine with it. This has been a good season. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed meeting the new ladies. Even if
though? Portia and Shamia seem to be good right now. So I'm also like, what's happening?
I know. She took up for Shamia. I know. Well,
so it'll be interesting.
Yes, TBD next week. I'm so interested in the fallout between Kelly and Britt. I cannot wait to understand what happened there because we know they're still not good.
Well, Britt don't seem like she good with anybody, so.
But that's, okay, wait. I know we're going to move on to talk about the Valley, but that's what's confusing because when she was on Watch What Happens Live, she still had nice things to say about Phaedra. And there were a couple of other people that she said nice things about. Maybe it was Portia. She wasn't rude. She's like, I like the mother Portia is or something like that.
No, she was
But then she was flat out rude to several other people.
She was fine to anyone that was like an OG. So Portia, Cynthia, and Phaedra, she was like pretty nice about. And everybody else, it seemed like she was like shading.
Okay.
But I don't think she'll be back on Watch What Happens Live or anywhere near Bravo anytime soon.
No. This is the end of her. So
yeah.
Bye. All right. The Valley. We start off with a little housewarming party with Kristen and Luke, which it's funny because I'm reading this because it's in the notes rundown, but somehow as I was watching, you watch and you disconnect and you watch and sometimes you have to rewind. I was watching and I was like, whose house are they at? That's all I kept thinking. I was like, whose house is this? Now I know it was Kristen and Luke's. I don't know how I missed that.
Rachel, I basically did the opposite, which is that I was like listening, but not totally like looking very carefully at the screen. And then I heard them say that it was Luke and Kristen's housewarming. And I said, oh, we will be rewinding and I will be looking at every square inch of this house because I'm obsessed with her living quarters and their living quarters together and their 2 refrigerators and their pet lizard and their lizard food. I didn't see the lizards, but when Luke was
what did you find? What and upon investigation.
I mean, definitely the wildest thing, which actually does link back to the 2 black refrigerators, is that this is a rental home and I guess their landlord.
It is?
Yes. And they were doing like a lot of revisions to it, which I'm all for. Like I have rented and done a lot to houses. You have to love the space you live in. Like that's no problem. You have to, in certain cases, like get approval from the landlord if you're going to like paint or whatever. I know they were like changing some light fixtures. They talked about that in another episode. They painted, and maybe it was painted a different color before. They painted the stone fireplace black. That's like not something you can undo.
Yeah.
And I'm just shocked that a landlord would let them
probably
do that. I mean, they'll be in big trouble if they didn't ask about that. Not that I'm standing.
Or maybe the landlord likes it. Maybe the landlord likes it.
Black is a pretty wild choice, I will say, for this like large stone hearth, and they went for it as they often do.
And once again, I missed that it was a rental because when they first introduced the house to us, I could have sworn it was, we got a house. And when you say we got a house, I'm thinking you bought it.
It was absolutely, we got a house. And then like a quiet clarification that they were renting, which I know is like big, tricky territory on Bravo. It's like, that is not a safe space for renters, unfortunately.
Quiet clarification is hilarious.
And Kristen was just kind of like, but I always feel for Kristen because that like real estate boyfriend she had a house and she sold it and she shouldn't have. Yeah. And I want her to be happy in her space and I want her to paint less things black and I want her to have less woven tapestries currently sitting on the ground. When Luke was like, I both agreed with him when he was like, are we moved in yet? No, but we got to go ahead and enjoy this house. I was like, yeah, enjoy your house, have people over, enjoy your friends. And then they showed like duffel bags on the ground. I was like, okay, you don't have to have all your art hung, but let's put the duffel bags in a closet.
Zach said, enjoy this house as if because you're not going to have it for much longer. She's just always the mess. Between all that stuff you named, and then she always is wearing a t-shirt with a saying on it. It's like word art in the house. Like, Rachel. I don't know if she still has, what was it? Madison James Ray, Madison May James
Madison t-shirts.
It's somewhere in there. I don't know if this is still her promoting her line, but like enough with the t-shirts, always with a word on it.
I'm almost more okay with the t-shirts. I'm like, what if you paired them with a skirt? Maybe even a jean short. But I wasn't on last week with you and Callie. And when she walked into that like gals summit at the coffee shop, Nia is in like a sweet sundress. Brittany is in a high-waisted short. And Kristen is just always like stumbling into a space in Adidas slides and a legging. And I kind of admire it. I'm like, the complete lack of ego that it would require to be like in slides and leggings exclusively on television is it is sort of admirable, but I also would just love to get her in a jean, in like a hard pant.
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
It's a choice. It's a choice, for sure. At this party.
Right, stuff happened.
Brittany, well, Sheena's there. And Brittany reveals to us, I love that they give her a moment. Again, even the cast is helping her really trying to get a spot on this. When Zach's like, it's like 1 degree away from Sheena, or 6 degrees, whatever, however he phrases it. But like, Sheena knows everybody. I met this person through Sheena. It's like, okay, we get it. You're trying to make Sheena a fixture on this show. Lala gets a moment later too on the show. Again, I'm actually enjoying Lala's presence. Not that I want her as a cast member, but she doesn't quite seem as calculated, even though she's obviously being calculated, she's on the show, as Sheena. Like,
I feel
Lala
totally the opposite. Like, for me, Sheena is, I'm like, do we need her? No, but she is sort of functioning as like a plot device, and she's not really, I mean, Brock is inserting himself more than she is. Lala's like making sure to get her personality in there, and she's like creating moments. And I feel like she's like locking in on Michelle because nobody else seems to want to talk to Michelle. Every time I see Lala, I'm like, get out of here. Scram.
Except for her talking to Jesse at that party where he had to retell the story again. And it's like, as an audience member, we already heard it. All her other moments have made sense to me. When I see Sheena, it's like a plug and chug thing. It's like, she's like it seems so obvious to me. And it's obviously obvious with Lala too. But it's like, okay, Michelle having that conversation with Lala in this episode, it made sense to me. It wasn't too in your face. It was mainly, I feel like Michelle talking. We learned about Michelle's mom, which was really sad. And it was a moment where I was like, oh, this really seems like two friends talking, and she felt more comfortable. That's how I took it. I'm gullible now, Jodi.
We're gullible in our different ways. I was like, have these two people ever spoken in their lives before this season of television? They obviously had something to talk about, and maybe they have. That was just where my mind went. Whereas with Sheena, I am buying that, like, Sheena does literally know everyone. She has been building these shows on her tiny back for years. Like, I do buy that she is so involved in all of these people's lives. She's tracking them all on her phone. Like, I just buy it about Sheena that she would just be around no matter what. And if she's just around, that's okay. I do not want them as characters. I like my Valley characters. I don't need any more Vanderpump Rules. Actually, you know who fit in the best was Tom Schwartz to me. And I'm not saying I want more of him. I'm just like, when he popped up and was like, like when he pops up in Summer House, like, you know what he's doing.
Yeah.
He plays this role. It's a little more seamless.
Yeah, no, for sure. I get it. Listen, I still stand by it. I don't want these people a part of the cast. I don't. And I will say that it's gold. We don't need you. And listen.
I already regret what I said about Tom Schwartz, because now I'm realizing that next season they're going to try to bring him in because Jax is moving into that condo next to him. And I don't want Jax either.
I don't want Jax either. And it's for reasons how dark.
So dark.
It's And there really is a conversation to have about production and where you draw the line on some of this, because he is stalking and harassing Brittany. There's no other way, outright, unashamed in doing it, to the point where he's hey, this is what I'm going to do and this is how I'm doing it. Him, and I saw somebody post this and it's so true, him getting to be able to promote his bar while in rehab, wearing the Jax hat, him lying about having a medical emergency, which I never believed. I never, ever believed that. But I wanted it to be true because it's just so dark if it's not. And him convincing people at rehab. Again, what kind of rehab place is this where he can lie to the front desk people and it is a mess.
And then the way they found out was he lied is that his therapist told Brittany. I also am like, I think that that's a violation. Nothing seems to be operating right about, and Brittany described the therapist as the therapist who goes around with him. He seems to be like in motion a lot, traveling. He's going to parks. He's going to houses. And when the divorce lawyer was like looking at the text and she said, "Is he stalking you? How does he know where you are?" I was like, yeah, he is stalking her. Like that. Yes, he is watching her. And he is not just watching her. He's threatening her with what he sees. That's so like, that's such deeply wrong behavior that I guess in some ways it is sort of good to, sometimes when you see these things on television, then you're like, oh, this is something to look out for, or this is something that I'm dealing with. I'm seeing it reflected back at me. But like, we can't be giving Jax a paycheck. That's not.
No.
That's not
no.
what we can be doing.
And, not that I thought he would change, but I understand if production's like, you need to show that you're going to rehab and you're working on yourself, because we just can't justify you being on this show anymore with the behavior that you're, exhibiting. But to me, it has only magnified how problematic he is. And I don't see how he can come back, because the way, Brittany says it in regards to something. I think when she was talking to Jesse, when Jesse was trying to be like, Jax has to come out tomorrow, and I don't want him coming out knowing that you changed the name on his bar and this. And it's like,
well, why don't you tell him to stay in then? Because his ass is not healed.
And what Brittany says is, if he does whatever Jesse was saying, she's like, if he does that, then it shows that he hasn't changed. And clearly he has not changed. So I don't know how you move forward with Jax on this show, knowing that he's now gone to therapy allegedly for 30 days and he's only gotten worse.
Yes. And like, so why are we babying Jax? Why are we being like, oh, anything can set him off? And also he's looking for reasons to be set off. He's watching her through the cameras, waiting for her to mess up. And she can't be responsible for like how he behaves. She doesn't just have to take care of herself. She also has to take care of their son. And he is not taking care of her in any way, and he hasn't for years. The mortgage stuff is so messed up. And then the way he's like lying, he's telling Jason on the phone that she'll get all the proceeds from the podcast that, by the way, she's been doing by herself for months. And then tells her that the house is in foreclosure and that they're going to be 50-50 on the podcast. I had the distinct, and I mean, it's like, I feel really protective of Brittany in these moments. I also am like, Brittany's got some work to do too, just like totally outside of this. But I was like, I think I'm going to listen to Brittany's podcast on mute. I really feel for her in this financial situation, and I think I need to do my part to support her.
No, for sure. And that's what sucks about California. It is 50-50. I think like it is 50-50. Like he's entitled to, like, he can do that with the house, and they're responsible together. But everything, it just sucks, the situation that they're in. I was looking up to see if they have finalized their divorce, which they haven't. I don't know I don't know where they are in the negotiation part of it, but I mean, she filed in August. If they were already done, that would be good. I finalized mine in a year, and that's considered good.
Pretty fast.
When it's messy.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't have. We don't have kids. We don't have businesses together. We didn't have anything like that. So theirs is a little bit more complicated. So I understand why it's taking so long.
Their lives are so I am sort of fascinated by because their lives are so intertwined, but their finances are separate. Like, I guess maybe some are combined, but she pays, when the divorce lawyer was like, did you have any conversations about the mortgage and like how that would be paid? And she just trusted that it would continue. Like, she pays the bills, he pays the mortgage. She continued to pay the bills, I guess. And and then she tells her that they took the government took $100,000 out of her bank account because she let him like put his debt as part of that house. And now the mortgage is like $18,000.
That's crazy.
I am this episode was tough.
And you know why it's crazier? Because at one time they were trying to sell their house last year, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 years ago. But it's crazier because when they bought that house, I remember because we were all in the Valley and in that market was the houses were overpriced, but the interest rates were so low.
Yeah.
So your mortgages were so low. So if it's $18,000, that means that they borrowed against it, that there's something else, because for what interest rates were when they bought that house, even with that house being it's like $3 million or something, or that's what they were trying to sell it for.
2 when they bought it. I think it was around 2.
Yeah, and they were selling it for like 3. So if they bought it at 2 at that interest rate, that's great. That's like twice what the mortgage should be. Twice as much for what the interest rates were at that time.
I'm like,
it's
look
crazy.
at the Valley making us try to do math. Because, I mean, things are just rough.
18,000 is wild with a kid. With a kid, too, and a bar. Isn't making money like that?
But I've never seen a person in that weird outpost
I drive past
bar.
it all the time.
I was very happy for Brittany that she decided to file in that moment, that she, went through with it, is going through with it, is sort of like holding herself accountable. It was very sweet to see Kristen be so proud of her. And it was very sweet that they threw her that party. I think Zach's a good friend.
Yeah. He said he's been thinking about it for a long time, and you could tell it was a really smart party. And for Jesse to poo-poo on it, I just was like, I just feel so bad for Jax. And let's just be real. I understand Michelle's thoughts. That wasn't the time to express them.
No.
We're like, but what about me? I wish my friends would have come to me. Okay, people were supporting you last season. There is no bar for them to throw for you. They were very supportive of you. You're done with Jesse. You're actually divorced, and you have a new man.
And I think what she wants is like, I think she wants support, but we've seen her get support. I think what she wants is for people to be angrier at Jesse. And she is seeing like the maximum support. But the thing is, a lot of those people are also still like supporting and being nice to Jax, especially the men. So it actually is a pretty similar situation in that way. And what she is going through with her mom is definitely compounding and very bad. And I guess like most generously, that's what she means by like her situation is worse. But I know Jesse's awful, but I don't think that he is like stalking her and watching her and doing some of the financial stuff. I mean, like Jax is worse. Jax is worse.
And we're in the thick of it right now. Yeah. You fortunately have been able to finalize it, and find new love. Like,
no one's gone to fake rehab in the middle of this.
Yeah. Yes, he's still terrorizing you, but like, and we hate it and we shit on him. He's not a good guy. But can we, I was like, not now, Michelle.
Should I do my one caveat for the unnamed person in our Ringer Bravo crew who is attracted to Jesse, and say that when that woman was talking to him at the party, telling him, her name was Jenna, telling him that she used to date Aaron, Michelle's new lover, when he was like looking down at her, because he was a lot taller than her, and like staring really deeply into her eyes, I was like, oh, I bet a lot of girls got by that. He was making like extreme eye contact and like very interested in what she was saying. And
I didn't get that.
I just
he
saw
looked evil
it.
To me.
I didn't like it. I didn't personally like it, but I know someone who did.
He looked evil to me. Okay, final last thoughts about the Valley. I'm mad that Jasmine backed down from Janet. I think she absolutely felt everything she felt in her entire rant, but I think she did it not because she's scared of Janet, which she said in her confessional. I don't know why she said that. Like, nobody wants to be on Janet's bad side. It's because of Jason. She genuinely wants to make up with Jason, which I totally get. Jason seems like a good friend I'd want to have in my life too, and I just suck it up and deal with his Karen wife if it meant that I could have a Jason in my life. But I hate it. I hated to see her back down and be like, oh, I was just saying in the moment. That's how I felt in the moment. No, Jasmine, that's how you really feel.
I think she had,
and
to me, it seemed like she had like one good confrontation in her, and she didn't really have another one. Like, she didn't have like the energy to go at Janet again. And I wish she did, because that was so, like, for Janet, that just like made her feel like she was right. And she's being
100%
so annoying.
Totally made her feel like she was right. And I hated that. Yeah, Dark Side Danny didn't let her slide when he started calling her a snake. And I wish Nia, we know we see it previewed later, I wish Nia would have come in and been like, I just hate the show, I shuts it down. I know it's your husband and you're trying to protect it, and I probably would do the same thing too. Like, you're drunk, honey, let's go, but we're on TV. Let Dark Side Danny loose. He's saying things that other people aren't saying about Janet. Let him loose.
I think
let
not nice Nia loose, because I don't know if he's cooking in that moment. You know, like, he's slurring. After, like, and the thing is, I don't think he was, like, in Dark Side Danny mode. That's what's annoying, is, like, he wasn't doing anything dark-sided. He just starts slurring his words, and, like, he's a lightweight. And
let him loose.
I would like to see him get really mad, or her get really mad, and, like, express themselves well when they're sober. And because Janet takes this, like, authoritative tone of, like, oh, I'm just drinking my giant mug of beer and I'm not drunk. So, like, I'm in the right and I understand emotional IQ, except I don't actually have it. I can just speak it fluently. And it's making me so mad.
Let him loose.
Chaotic.
Dark Side Danny.
You want the chaos.
I want the chaos. And I want it from Nia too. She's getting to her point. She's getting to her boiling point. She's had enough.
She is.
She's had enough. Not enough.
I'm ready.
All right. I was like, not much happened in the valley, but per usual, we're wrong. It always does. It's going down in the valley. It's going down. And I love it. Love it so much. This has been a good week of Bravo shows. Miami's back. Atlanta's about to be on its way out, but it's still cooking, and so is the valley. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure you join us Tuesday. Actually, no, we will not be podcasting on Tuesday, but catch us next week. We're going to take a little break. We got a lot going on, but we'll be back next week to recap. We're always paying attention, even if we're not on the mic. We're always following what's happening in Bravo. Guys, have a safe week, and we'll see you then. Bye.